I have one guest tonight. He is a liar. George Santos. You've led people to believe you were Jewish.
Always said Jewish. My grandparents survived the Holocaust. True. There was no actual investigative research. No, let me finish. You're talking about an ethic.
George Santos is pretty much a fraud. He lied his way into Congress. It's astonishing how he was able to even get to that point, just lie after lie after lie.
He's a liar of the extreme type. He's beyond. He's ridiculous.
He's a habitual liar, and he continues on and on and on. I don't know who's more stupid, us or him.
When I hear George Santos, I think of SNL automatically.
Yeah, I don't think he's to be trusted. Very scary to hear that he's even attempting to run again.
Well, George, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm interested to talk to you. So why did you want to be here today?
Well, I took the invitation. I've followed your career my entire life, so I said, why not? Mm-hmm. It's a privilege to be here with you today, sir.
You have created an interesting wake behind you over the last couple of years. Would you agree?
Sure, we can say that, yeah.
Yeah, would you describe it differently?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of, how can I say this? There's a lot more media flair that if you were to give the same kind of scrutiny to the other 435 people in Congress, I think it'd be more entertaining.
You have said that you are the victim of a witch hunt.
One can say that. When was the last time
You did say that.
Oh, no, yeah, I did say that. But when was the last time that one member of Congress had the entire national and international media breathing down their neck? And trust me, there's plenty of people in Congress who have objectified and done so much more to harm the American people. But they came after me with everything they had.
Well, you said, when was the last time they got focused on? Well, when was the last time somebody lied about their degrees, their religion, their work experience, their family, stole from their constituents?
Those are not, you're saying as if all those are facts.
Well, are
right?
they?
No.
Okay. Well, let's get some terms so we can use the same definition.
Yeah.
What do you define as a lie?
Well, a lie is a lie. It's not true, period.
Okay. Did you lie?
Yeah, I've admitted that. I've admitted that I've made some very poor choices in the past.
Well, I didn't want to ask you. Not did you make poor choices, did you lie?
I said yes, yeah.
Okay. What did you lie about?
You know, it's been a year since I was elected, a little over a year. It's been this same exact line of questioning over and over and over again, and it's so extensively documented. I think it's not smart to use time to kind of rehash, but if we want to rehash, yes, there were things that I was, I've said and I've made it very clear I'm not proud of, and that I've absolutely owned up to. And I wish every time somebody was caught in public office in the same predicament that they would have the fortitude to go on national television and also say, and fess up.
Well, you're not wanting to fess up, you're wanting to change the subject, apparently.
I'm not changing subject. I just told you exactly what you asked me.
What's the difference between a lie and embellishment, in your view?
I think a lie is completely divorced from reality, and an embellishment is an exaggeration to what is partially true.
Okay. So you say that you have lied. We can talk about that in a minute. But I'm really interested in why.
A lot of my life prior to Congress, if you ask any of my friends, before I even decided to run for office, they would tell you George is brutally honest and blunt and sometimes even hurtful because I don't filter my opinions. And then to become apparently now this national liar, you know, that was very difficult of a punch in the gut for me. But a lot of it, when it comes to the campaign stuff, a lot of those decisions weren't my own decisions. I just ran with them because I was being, I guess, guided and advised by the people who knew best.
So are you a victim?
I'm not saying I'm a victim.
What are you saying?
I'm an adult. I took bad advice, and I thought it was smart when it was stupid.
Well, give me an example of bad advice you got, and from who?
I wouldn't get a meeting with the GOP chairman if I had sent him my true resume with my real achievements, which, quite frankly, I was very proud of. When, you know, folks that I had in my team said, oh, we'll just put this here, a little white lie, you'll never get past this. Well, guess what? Got past that.
A white lie is like, does this make me look fat? And you go, oh, no. That's a white lie.
Sure. Okay.
A white lie is not, I went to Horace Mann School, I graduated from Baruch College, I went to NYU for a master's degree. Those aren't white lies. Those are material misrepresentations of people that are judging your competency to perform a certain task. Do you agree?
I do.
Well, you said it was a white lie. Have you changed your mind since I started talking?
Well, I guess poor choice of words. You're right. I'm wrong.
Because you seem like a pretty bright guy, actually.
Oh, I'm flattered. Thank you.
But it seems to me that if you were really bright, you would say,
no.
Man, that's going to hit the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody with a computer can check out whether I'm listed on the alumni list at NYU. I have an opponent. You know, somebody's going to...
Well, clearly he wasn't very smart either.
Well, somebody was.
No, I mean...
Somebody was smart enough to say, let's see if this guy went to NYU.
Dr. Phil, I know it's hard sometimes for people to understand politics and for folks watching at home understand. There was no actual investigative research into what had transpired, right? This is...
Really?
No, let me finish. You're talking about an ethic...
It seems like somebody looked into some...
Provided most of it. What I was getting at was the New York Times investigative report wasn't really much of an investigation. It was essentially my opposition research, my own vulnerability study that done in my own campaign was handed over to New York Times in reprisal for me firing a campaign staffer a year earlier. That's how that investigation comes to be.
Okay, so you investigated yourself.
Well, no, I did a vulnerability study for the campaign.
I understand what a vulnerability study is. I mean, well, when you paid them to do this vulnerability study, you give them a list of things that are going to pop up, right?
Yes.
So you told them, you're going to find out I didn't go to Horace Mann, I didn't go to Baruch College, I didn't go to NYU. So you didn't have to look that up, right?
Of course, yeah.
And then what did you do with the results of that vulnerability
I gave it... The GOP had it in Washington, D.C.
You distributed that when?
December of 21 or November of 21, either or.
So a year before you were elected, the GOP knew that you had lied about all that stuff?
About the education stuff on the vulnerability, yes.
They knew you had a GED?
Yes.
And they said, we know you lied about all that, just go with it.
No. So I'm not going to say that that's true because it's not. So there was a number of protocols taken to walk back those things slowly on our website and remove all those things. Obviously, journalists had captured earlier versions of the website, and therefore the start comparison and then the reports come out. Okay.
You took those things off?
Yes.
So the paragraph was this long, and it just became this long?
Well, if
it just said GED period, next paragraph.
No. Well, no, because just having a GED doesn't round up the entirety of my life, right? I'm 35 years old.
No, of course not. I'm just saying in the education section.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So in that vulnerability study, did you volunteer all of the things that had been fabricated?
Yeah.
Did you tell them that you didn't work for Citicorp?
Well, you see, that's where it's nuanced. In the sense of the biography, we did work at Linkbridge Investors when I was the vice president there for all these corporations. So in the sakes of, and here's an embellishment, having done the work and working for two that was when I admittedly say, yes, that's an embellishment. But the work was done, right? So I know
what work
people.
was done?
Well, we provide service. We were service
Did you get
providers.
a pay stub from Citibank?
No, I got one from Linkbridge Investors, who we at the time did do work on a contract basis for Citicorp, and for Goldman and many other Fortune 500 companies that we've worked for. And I've also rehashed that in the media too.
Let's look at this tape and tell me how this is nuanced.
When I first started in my career at Citigroup, I was told, oh, you're a really smart guy. And here I am. Today I am a proud regional director of a $1.5 billion fund.
Have you ever heard of a Goldman Sachs employee take the stage at the largest private equity conference in the world, SALT, run by Anthony Scaramucci, and berate their employer while I did that?
That didn't seem very nuanced.
Okay.
That says, I worked for Goldman Sachs. I took the stage at the SALT conference run by Anthony Scaramucci, who I know, and he doesn't remember that.
Sure. I mean, look, people are so easy and run away from.
Did you work for Goldman Sachs and take the stage at the SALT conference?
I just told you I worked for Linkbridge Investors and then Harbor City Capital, and I provided services for both firms at the time I was at Linkbridge Investors. So no, that was not the most accurate representation of how the events unfolded.
Okay, is that a no?
Yeah, it's a no.
Okay, so you weren't at that conference?
No, I've been to SALT many times.
Well, I want to ask you, were you at that conference and did you take the stage and say what you said
conference?
you said? The one you referenced
That's SALT.
there.
Yeah, I've been to SALT many times.
Were you at that one where you said you took the stage? And...
I have been to SALT many times, yes.
Okay, now answer my question.
Yes,
Were you at the
I
one
was
you
at
just
that conference, yes.
And did you take the stage?
I have taken the stage at SALT before,
At
yes.
that conference that you just referenced?
SALT is one conference, so yes.
And you took the stage and said?
I have been in SALT multiple times, yes.
Now answer my question.
I just did.
Well, bear with me, because I'm finding it hard to find the answer. Do we need to play the tape again?
No. The answer is yes, I did go to that conference. Yes, I did take a panel stage at that conference. That's all.
Well, Scaramucci said there's no record of you being at that conference. There's no record of you being on that stage, and that...
But then he donates to me.
That wasn't the question.
Well, no,
the
I
question
understand.
is,
Scaramucci said multiple times he doesn't know who I am, that he's never met me. I have pictures with Anthony, and I like Anthony. I think he's a brilliant guy. And he also donated to my campaign.
That's deflection. I'm asking you, were you at that conference? Did you take the stage and say what you said? Look, this is your chance to be straight. And you're doing a pattern that I think you've done a lot, where you're deflecting.
I'm not deflecting. I just
not very well, but you're trying.
I just answered your question, Dr. Phil.
No, you haven't.
What is the question? Did I go to SALT? I just told you yes.
That wasn't the question. You're rewriting the question and answering the one you wish I had asked.
Okay, go ahead.
Play the tape.
When I first started in my career at Citigroup, I was told, oh, you're a really smart guy. And here I am. Today I am a proud regional director of a $1.5 billion fund.
Have you ever heard of a Goldman Sachs employee take the stage at the largest private equity conference in the world, SALT, run by Anthony Scaramucci, and berate their employer while I did that?
Did you do that? That's a yes or no question.
Okay, so no in that context, no. Right, but I have been to SALT multiple times. That's what I'm trying to come across to you. And I think I've been trying to say this, but you keep saying that I'm not answering your question.
No, well, you did answer it for the first time. And then when you said no, that didn't happen. You didn't go to that conference, get up on the stage and berate your employer.
I have gone, so Dr. Phil, bear with me. I have gone to SALT. I have gone to the Linkbridge conferences. I've gone to the Markets Group conference and multiple other conferences, right? I have taken the stage, and I have, in multiple occasions, used the same system that facilitates that to criticize them on their hypocrisy, which is something I'm proud to do. But in that context, no, you're correct.
But we can conclude that you weren't at that conference, where they have no record of you being there, and they have videotape of the conference, and you never walked on that stage.
I have the program at home.
Really? And you were printed on there?
Yes, I was. Did I make up the program too?
Did you?
Oh. I'm asking you. Did I? I mean, that's kind of the next level I think we take this to. George Santos makes fake programs at home.
Well, that wouldn't be a stretch. When you were really into this taking bad advice from people and doing stuff, was there a limit where you would say, no, not doing that?
Looking back, I was stupid and ambitious. That's the best way to put it. And I've apologized profusely to people. And if I could do it all over again, I'd do it so different. Because the one thing that I am really proud of is of my upbringing and my family. And in a sense, it was a disrespect to my mom, may God rest her soul. It was a disrespect to my dad, who's worked a very hard life being a blue-collar worker. So I would do it differently, absolutely. Tons of regrets.
Well, I hope that's true. Why did you say your mother was a 9/11 survivor?
I never said my mom. First of all, my mother was my best friend, and losing my mom to cancer in the way I did in 2016 was very difficult for me, a very dark time in my life. My mother worked downtown Manhattan, as did my dad. My dad was in and out of most of those skyscrapers throughout his entire career as a painter. The conversation just got completely miscontextualized.
Well, let's take a look at what you said.
Go ahead.
Andy, my mom was a 9/11 survivor. She was in the South Tower, and she made it out. She got caught up in the ash cloud. My mom fought cancer till her death.
I stand by that till this day.
So she was in the South Tower?
She worked in the South Tower, yes.
On 9/11?
At that time, yes. She was downtown Manhattan on 9/11, sir.
When the planes hit?
I mean, I don't know if she was there when the planes hit after or whatever the case was, but she was there.
You said to CNN, my mother got caught up in the ash cloud that day and fought cancer until her death in 2016.
Are we disputing my mother's health record too?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But according to the New York Times, your mother wasn't in the United States during 9/11.
Yeah.
She didn't apply for a visa until 2003.
So my mom applied for a visa, but I was born here to lawful green card holders in 1988. Does that story make sense to you, Dr. Phil?
I don't know. I'm
well,
asking
my question,
you.
I'm asking you, does that story make sense? Is the Times not have been corrected multiple times for their falsehoods and their wrong narratives or their sensationalized stories?
DHS says your mother applied for a visa in 2003 and she wasn't able to return to the United States since 1999 because her green card was stolen in Brazil.
My mother was a green card holder and my mother was here my entire life. I lived here.
So you're saying your mother was in the tower when the planes hit?
My mother was in downtown Manhattan in the tower, as the accounts from when I was a 13-year-old kid is how she explained it to me. Yes, sir. And I believe her. I don't believe the Times, that's for sure.
The only way you know it is that she told you.
Well,
where were you on 9/11?
School.
And how did she tell you about it?
When she picked me up from school.
Oh. So she was in the tower, they got hit, she got out, got in the car, and came and got you?
Well, not in the car. There was a whole lot of walking and hitchhiking that day in Manhattan. You couldn't really get in or out of Manhattan. I don't know the ins and outs of how, but we were picked up at school.
I found that people do things for a reason. I've spent most of my life focused on why people do what they do and don't do what they don't do. I mean, we all have motivations. And if you see people do something in pattern, over and over, there's some payoff for it.
What's the payoff here?
If you see people do something in pattern, over and over, there's some payoff for it.
What's the payoff here? There's none. It's a net negative.
Now?
No, it's always been a net negative. It was stupid. Then it's stupid now.
Well, now, but I'm curious why you have lied when you've lied, like you've led people to believe you were Jewish.
No, that's again taken out of context. I've always said Jewish. Do you have a clip?
I do, actually.
Oh, so run the clip. Run the clip.
How did you know?
Run the clip.
All right, let's do.
I'm a Latino Jew, which makes them shake in their pants because the reality is I got it all, baby. I come from all angles.
I've seen how socialism destroys people's lives because my grandparents survived the Holocaust.
True. I was raised Roman Catholic. I've said that at the RJC stage in 2022. I even made the joke as I was introduced. Amazing, a room with over 1,000 Jews, and you're conceding the mic to the only Roman Catholic in the room. And then I go to say, well, I am Jew-ish. After all, the whole room laughs. It's a joke. It's lighthearted and respectful. And then all of a sudden, it's spinned off in the narrative of George Santos lied about his heritage.
Were your grandparents Holocaust survivors?
I didn't say they were Holocaust survivors. I said they fled the Holocaust, right? I know where I have done wrong. I have fessed up. I have apologized. I continue to apologize profusely. Not a day goes by that I don't recognize and wish I could have done it differently.
But have you owned it? Because you're still ducking and weaving. And I'm trying to give you an opportunity to just be 100% transparent and authentic.
I just don't understand what's expected of me. I can't change who I am as a person and my personality. I mean, it's almost like that's what's being requested, is for me to change who I am as a human being and my personality. I don't know how to do exactly what is expected of me from, I guess, your standpoint and your viewpoint that would make you feel like it's sufficient. And please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Listen, you have to be who you are. I'm not asking you to be somebody you're not. Your personality is what it is. But I've been doing this for over 45 years. There's a big difference between deception detection and then getting to the truth. Those are two separate parts of interviewing somebody and getting the whole picture. And you show a lot of lie behaviors when you're talking to me. Then getting to the truth is the second part, where it's like, all right, then if what you've said and done is not the truth, and you've said, I did lie about a lot of things. I've said that before. Okay, I get that, but usually that sentence ends with a period. With you, there's a comma. I've lied before, comma. Here's the rest of the story. And that's where I'm trying to find the bottom here.
So are you saying that me trying to give you context to it, I should just stop at admitting it and not giving you the context?
No,
and that would be, maybe I'm learning from you. You know, I'm really trying to learn from you.
No,
so if that's what you're telling me,
I
then
guess you've had worse advice.
I agree.
Well, we've agreed on something.
There you go.
I appreciate your coming here. You didn't have to come here, and I still think you need to own things, and I hope you use this experience. I hope it...
Oh, I will rewatch this over and over and over and over again. I will be your #1 hit on YouTube, trust me.